Nobody was supposed to see him cry out here. But there he was anyway, standing under that dull morning sky, staring down at the gravestone like it might finally talk back. Tyrese Cole, the man everybody called Big Money Ty, stood alone in the old South Phoenix cemetery. The marble slab read, Kendra Cole, wife, taken too soon, 2019. He dropped white lilies on the dirt. Her favorite, always was. He never said nothing at her grave. Never could. Not then. Not now. But somebody else did. Don't leave those there. He froze. The voice was little, quiet but sharp, like it didn't care about his tears. When Tyrese turned around, he expected a groundskeeper or some old man tending graves. But nah, it was a girl. She was maybe 7 or 8, sitting cross-legged 2 rows over. Brown skin, 2 puffs in her hair, hoodie zipped up to her chin. Her sneakers were muddy and her backpack looked like it had been dragged through hell. She didn't smile, didn't flinch, just sat there like she owned the place. Don't leave them. She ain't here. Tyrese squinted. What you just say? The girl tilted her head. Your wife ain't dead. She's still alive. The world went quiet. The wind, the birds, even his own breath. She just kept looking at him, like she was daring him to say otherwise. What's your name, little one? He asked finally. Maya James. And who you here for? Nobody, she said. I sleep here sometimes. Shelter's full. Tyrese clenched his jaw. Something about her. The calm in her voice, the way she spoke about Kendra like she knew. You seen her? He asked. Maya nodded. She gave me soup one night. Wrapped me up in this blanket with stars on it. Told me not to tell nobody, but I figured you should know. You look sad enough. Tyrese just stood there, staring at the kid like she just told him the world was flat. Where you see her? Old bus depot off Jefferson. But she ain't been there a few days. He crouched low, eye level now. You sure? You know her name? Maya didn't even blink. Didn't have to. She told me not to forget. Kendra. That was it. His knees almost buckled. And when the girl hummed a broken little tune, their wedding song, his heart damn near stopped. Nobody knew that song but Kendra. Nobody. That same night, Tyrese called in the only person he trusted for something like this, a PI from back in the day named Vega Cruz. Vega didn't even ask questions on the phone. Just said, I'm on my way. By morning they were outside the old depot. And it was exactly like Maya said. Empty, cold, scattered signs somebody had stayed here. And in the corner? A piece of blue fabric. A little torn-up blanket with white stars. Tyrese picked it up, hands shaking. It still smelled faintly of her perfume. Vega crouched beside him. This don't feel like no accident, Ty. Somebody wanted you to think she was gone. Tyrese just stared down at the blanket. Why? Who would want that? But he already had a name in his head. Somebody close. Somebody who stood to gain. The next day, Tyrese tracked Maya back to the cemetery. She was sitting in the same spot, chewing on a piece of bread somebody must have given her. He handed her a paper bag. Hot pancakes and milk. She didn't say thank you. Just tore into it like she hadn't eaten in a week. You said you ain't seen her in a few days? Maya nodded, mouth full. She said she had to leave. Said it was too dangerous. Told me if I ever saw a man with sad eyes at her grave, to tell him she misses him. Tyrese felt his chest tighten. Did she say who she was running from? Maya hesitated. Then she looked him dead in the eye. She didn't say, but she said if he ever found her, it'd be over for you too. By that evening, Tyrese and Vega were parked outside an office downtown. The name on the glass door read, Cameron Banks, Cole Group Legal Counsel. Cameron had been his lawyer and right-hand man for a decade, but Tyrese's gut told him this all started with him. He didn't knock. He just walked in. Cameron was on the phone, barking orders, acting like he owned the place. When he saw Tyrese standing there, holding that starry blanket in his hand, he froze. We need to talk, Tyrese said. Cameron's face went pale. I don't know what you think you know. Don't play me. Tyrese stepped closer. You tell me what you did, or I swear by the time I'm done, you gon' wish you stayed quiet. Cameron swallowed hard. His eyes darted to the door like he was about to run. But before he could move, Vega leaned against the frame, blocking his path. Go on, Vega said. Tell him. And Cameron finally cracked, his voice low, shaking. She wasn't supposed to survive, Ty. We needed you out the way. You were asking too many questions about the contracts, the surveillance deals. We couldn't have you digging. Tyrese's jaw tightened. His hands curled into fists. Where is she, Cam? Cameron shook his head. I don't know where she is now. She slipped me months ago. But if she comes back, they'll kill her for real this time. And you too. Tyrese took a slow breath. He didn't look away. Then I guess I better find her first. That night, Tyrese drove back to the cemetery one more time. Maya was waiting, sitting on the curb like she knew he'd come. You find her yet? She asked quietly. Not yet, Tyrese said, crouching beside her. But I will. She nodded once, then leaned her head on his shoulder. Good, she whispered. 'Cause they watching her already. Tyrese stiffened. Who's watching her? He asked, pulling back to look at her. Maya just pointed to a black sedan parked across the street. In the shadows, behind the wheel, a figure sat still, watching them both. Tyrese stood, his whole body tense now, his mind racing. If Kendra was still alive, then somebody else already knew, and they weren't gonna let her come home that easy. The figure in the black sedan didn't flinch, didn't even pretend to hide once Tyrese caught him staring. The engine rumbled low, like a growl waiting for teeth. Tyrese reached for Maya's shoulder and eased her behind him. Go sit back, little one. But Maya didn't move. Her wide, brown eyes stayed locked on that car. That's him, she whispered. That's the man who brings her food sometimes. But he scares her. Tyrese's whole body went cold. You've seen him before? Maya nodded. He got a big scar on his face, and a tattoo of a snake on his neck. Tyrese clenched his fists. The sedan pulled off slow, tires crunching on gravel before it melted into the shadows. But Tyrese memorized the plates. You know what that means, don't you? Vega asked from behind. She'd been leaning against her car, quiet the whole time. She ain't just hiding from some paperwork scandal anymore. Somebody big is keeping her down. Maybe bigger than we thought. Tyrese turned, eyes sharp. I don't care if it's the governor himself. I want my wife back. And my daughter. Vega smirked. Good answer. Now let's get to work. Later that night they set up in Tyrese's study. Maps, photos, and Vega's laptop spread across the big oak table. I dug deeper, Vega said, her fingers flying across the keys. Cameron Banks has been taking payments from a shell company tied to an outfit called Iron Fong. Ex-military contractors. Real grimy types. Tyrese frowned. Why would they care about me and Kendra? Vega pulled up another file. Government documents stamped, confidential. You were working on an encryption system 5 years ago, right? That little project your company was gonna sell to the feds. Yeah, Project Argus. Well, Vega leaned back. That project would have killed half the backdoor surveillance contracts Iron Fong was running under the table. And when they couldn't scare you off, they went after her. Made you too broken to fight back. Tyrese felt heat rising in his chest. His fingers dug into the table. And now they got her somewhere, probably watching her every move. Maya, sitting in the corner with her backpack hugged tight, spoke up. I know where she hides sometimes. When she's really scared. Both adults turned. Where, Maya? She hesitated, then said quietly. The underpass. Down by the train tracks. There's this little spot under the bridge where nobody ever goes. I seen her there before. Vega raised a brow at Tyrese. That a lead? Tyrese stood, already grabbing his jacket. That's more than enough. It was close to midnight when they got there. The tracks were empty and quiet, the steel rails glinting faintly in the moonlight. Maya led the way, her little sneakers crunching over gravel until they reached a gap under the bridge. Tyrese crouched down and peered into the darkness. And there she was, Kendra, curled up on a thin mattress with a sleeping toddler in her arms. Naomi. Her gloved hand rubbed the girl's back even in her sleep, her scarred jawline visible under the dim glow of a lantern. She froze when she saw Tyrese. Ty? He stepped closer, voice cracking. Baby girl. It's me. Her eyes welled up fast, but she didn't stand. Just shook her head in disbelief. You shouldn't have come here. They'll kill you. He dropped to his knees in front of her, his hands cupping her cheeks. I ain't leaving you here no more. Not after what they did to you. We going home, all of us. Kendra squeezed his hands, finally letting the tears spill. It ain't that simple. They're watching. They follow me even here sometimes. You don't know how dangerous they are. Tyrese leaned in close, his voice low but fierce. Then let him watch. 'Cause I'm done letting you fight alone. But before another word could be said, Vega's voice cut through the dark. We got company. Tyrese turned to see her standing at the edge of the underpass, her gun already drawn. Headlights glowed faint in the distance. The same black sedan rolled to a stop at the top of the hill. 3 men stepped out, big, armed. One of them, a tall man with a long scar down his cheek and a snake tattoo coiling around his neck, lit a cigarette, his cold eyes locked on Tyrese and Kendra below. Well, well, he called out, his voice carrying in the still night air. Mr. Cole, you just couldn't leave well enough alone, could you? Tyrese stood slowly, putting himself between Kendra and the men. Who sent you? He demanded. The scarred man chuckled. You already know who sent me, but it don't matter. All that matters is, you just made her a problem again. And problems. He flicked the cigarette into the dirt. We fix them. Tyrese glanced back at Vega, who gave him the smallest of nods. He turned back to the scarred man, his jaw set. You gon' have to kill me first. The man smiled, pulled his jacket back to reveal the gun at his hip. Don't worry, Cole. That's the plan. The wind howled through the underpass as the first shot rang out, and the night erupted into chaos. The gunshot echoed under the bridge like thunder. Vega shoved Maya behind one of the concrete columns, her pistol already barking fire in return. Tyrese dropped low, pulling Kendra and Naomi down with him, his body shielding them both as splinters of concrete sprayed around them. The scarred man shouted to his crew, take him alive if you can. The woman too. But if not, end it. Tyrese's blood ran hot. His whole world, right here under his arms. Shaking, terrified, but alive. Ain't no way in hell he was letting it end here. Vega, he barked. We need a way out. She fired 3 quick shots and ducked, cursing. Working on it. But the goons kept coming. Boots pounding gravel. Flashlights cutting through the dark. Kendra's whisper broke his thoughts. Ty, there's a drainage tunnel behind that mattress. It leads out to the other side of the tracks. He looked at her like she just gave him a second chance at life. You trust me to get you out? Always. He grabbed Naomi in one arm, Kendra's hand in the other. Vega, tunnel, cover us. Go, she yelled back, firing until her clip ran dry. The drainage tunnel was tight, cold, wet. Naomi whimpered softly but didn't cry. She clung to Tyrese's jacket as he half crawled, half dragged them forward. Kendra's gloved hand never left his back. Behind them, gunfire faded into shouts, then silence. Then Vega's voice crackled through Tyrese's earpiece. Keep moving. I bought you time, but they're regrouping. Meet me by the gas station on 16th. Copy. They emerged in a ditch on the far side, out of breath but alive. At the gas station, Vega was already waiting in her battered black Jeep, engine idling. Maya sat in the back seat, clutching her battered backpack, eyes wide. She grinned when she saw Naomi. Told you he'd find her. Naomi grinned back through her tears. Get in, Vega ordered. We ain't safe yet. By sunrise, they were holed up in a safe house on the edge of the desert. An old trailer Vega had stocked with supplies and burner phones. Vega tossed Tyrese a cold bottle of water and a stack of files. Here. Everything I could pull on Iron Fong. Names. Contracts. Bank accounts. And your boy Cameron Banks? Still running their money through his law office downtown. You wanna hurt him? Start there. Tyrese flipped through the files. Jaw tight. This ends now. Then you better make it loud. Vega smirked. These people only understand fire. He turned to Kendra, who sat on the edge of the couch, cradling Naomi. You okay? She nodded faintly. It's not me I'm worried about. It's you. They won't stop, Ty. He crouched in front of her, his hands gently resting on hers. Then neither will I. Not till you can walk down the street with our daughter and never look over your shoulder again. Naomi peeked up at him. You gonna beat the bad guys, Daddy? He smiled at her, tears in his eyes. That's right, baby. Daddy's gonna beat 'em all. That night, Tyrese and Vega suited up. Hoodies, gloves, masks. They parked a block away from Cameron Banks' gleaming downtown office tower. Vega handed him a flash drive. Everything they're hiding. Documents, surveillance footage, enough to bury Banks and Iron Fong with the feds and the press combined. Tyrese tucked it into his coat. And what about Banks? Vega loaded her pistol. Oh, he's yours. It was almost midnight when they kicked the back door of Banks' office open. Security guards were down in minutes. Vega handled them like clockwork, quiet and efficient. Tyrese stalked through the marble lobby, up the elevator, and into Banks' corner office like a storm. Cameron Banks looked up from his desk, smug at first, until he saw Tyrese's eyes. Cole, you're supposed to be grieving somewhere, not playing hero. Tyrese slammed the flash drive on the desk. You destroyed my life for contracts and kickbacks. You put my wife through hell. You made me bury an empty coffin. And you tried to take my daughter's future before she even had one. Banks leaned back, trying to play calm. You think you can prove any of that? Tyrese smiled darkly. Oh, I don't have to prove it. I just have to expose it. He shoved the drive into Banks' computer. Files and video clips exploded across the screen. Deals, payments, security footage of the crash site. Even recordings of the scarred man giving orders. Banks' face drained of color. You can't. Tyrese leaned in close. You should have made sure she was dead. Vega stepped into the office, her gun aimed steady. Cops are downstairs. Press is outside. Whole board's about to get cuffed. And as for you, Tyrese grabbed Banks by the collar, dragging him to his feet. You don't get to hide behind lawyers anymore. Sirens wailed outside as they forced him down the hall. Back at the safe house, Kendra sat with Naomi and Maya in the moonlight. When Tyrese and Vega finally returned, Naomi ran to her father, throwing her little arms around his neck. Did you win, Daddy? He picked her up and kissed her cheek. We won, baby girl. We won. Kendra's eyes met his, full of relief, full of love. He walked to her, pulling her close, whispering in her ear. It's over now. You're coming home. She nodded, her hand slipping into his. Home, she echoed. But Vega stood at the window, watching the dark horizon with her arms crossed. Her voice was low, almost to herself. Thing about snakes is, you cut off one head, another one grows back. And that scarred man? He's still out there. Tyrese heard her, and he turned to face the desert night. Because he knew this war wasn't over yet. Not until every last one of them paid. The desert night was quiet. Too quiet. Tyrese couldn't sleep. Couldn't sit still. Not after what Vega said. That scarred man? He's still out there. That face haunted him. The jagged scar that ran from the man's temple to his chin. His cold eyes as he barked those words under the bridge. End it. Tyrese stood at the edge of the trailer's porch, staring into the black sky, his fists clenched. He knew it wasn't over. Not while the man who tried to erase his family was still breathing. Behind him, Vega leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. You're thinking about going after him, aren't you? He didn't even turn. Thinking's done. Time to finish it. She smirked faintly. That's what I like to hear. Lucky for you. I already know where he is. Tyrese spun. You know where he's hiding? Not hiding, she corrected. Running things. Downtown Phoenix. Big warehouse on the riverfront. Iron Fong's main stash house. That's where they count their cash, move their product, and clean their guns. He'll be there. That's where they all go when they feel untouchable. Tyrese's jaw tightened. Then let's show him he's not. The safe house felt different that morning. Heavy, like everyone could feel the storm coming. Kendra sat at the kitchen table, her hand resting over Naomi's tiny fingers. Maya, the quiet little girl who started all this, watched from the corner. You don't have to do this, Kendra said softly. But Tyrese shook his head. Yes, I do. If I don't, he'll keep coming. For me. For you. For her. Kendra's lip trembled. Just come back to us. Please. He kissed her forehead, then Naomi's cheek. You have my word. Vega tossed him a black duffel. Suit up, Cole. Tonight's the night. The warehouse loomed by the river like some kind of fortress. High windows blacked out, chain-link fences buzzing with spotlights, guards posted every 50 feet. Vega crouched beside Tyrese behind a stack of old shipping containers, surveying the place through binoculars. Looks like they're counting a fresh shipment. At least a dozen guys inside. Maybe more. Doesn't matter, Tyrese growled. I just want the scarred one. Vega loaded her silenced rifle, her lips twisting into a grin. Then let's go hunting. They came in quiet. Vega took out the perimeter guards one by one, silent shots dropping them like stones in the dust. Tyrese moved like a shadow, a blade in one hand, silenced pistol in the other. Once they slipped through the side door, the warehouse came alive in noise. Men laughing, cash counters whirring, crates being opened. And there he was. The scarred man, standing on a raised platform at the back, arms folded, barking orders. Load those trucks. Boss wants it moved by morning. Tyrese's blood boiled. He lowered his mask and stepped forward, his voice cutting through the noise. Hey! The scarred man froze, then turned slow, his scar twisting into a sneer when he saw who it was. Well, well, the dead wife's husband. You should have stayed in the ground with her. You should have made sure she stayed dead, Tyrese shot back. It was chaos after that. Men drew guns. Vega opened fire from the rafters. Tyrese charged straight for the scarred man, tackling him off the platform. They hit the concrete hard, fists flying. You think you can just walk in here and take me down? The scarred man roared, swinging a metal pipe. But Tyrese dodged, slamming him into a stack of crates. This is for Kendra. Another punch. For Naomi. Another. For every damn night I thought she was dead because of you. The scarred man spat blood, laughing through his broken teeth. You don't even know the half of it. That stopped Tyrese cold. What? The man grinned, even as Vega's rifle barrel pressed against his temple. You really think she ran because of me? You think I'm the one who wanted her gone? Nah. I just did what I was paid to do. But I wasn't the one writing the checks. Who? Tyrese demanded, grabbing him by the collar. Who paid you? The scarred man chuckled darkly. You already met her. Every night when you close your eyes. Smell her perfume on your sheets. You never wondered what she was hiding from you this whole time. Tyrese froze, his grip loosening. What are you talking about? The scarred man's bloody smile widened. Ask her about Vega. Before Tyrese could react, a sharp crack echoed in the warehouse. The scarred man's body went limp. Tyrese turned just in time to see Vega lowering her smoking pistol, her eyes hard and cold. He was done talking, she muttered. But Tyrese's chest was tight now. His eyes narrowed. Why did he say your name, Vega? She met his gaze, calm. Because there's more to this than you know, Cole. And if you want the full truth, you better be ready to hear it. She turned and walked toward the door, her voice carrying back to him. You coming or not? Tyrese glanced back at the scarred man's body, then at the stacks of dirty money, the crates of weapons, the broken glass. His jaw set. "I'm coming. But you better start talking, Vega. Everything." And as they disappeared into the dark night, he already knew. This wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. The desert wind whipped through the empty streets as Vega's car tore through the night. Tyrese sat in the passenger seat, staring at her profile in the dashboard glow. His knuckles were white around his knees. "Start talking, Vega," he said at last. "No more games." She didn't flinch, just kept her eyes on the road. "You think you're the only one who lost something," she murmured. "You think you're the only one who got lied to, played, sacrificed." Tyrese glared. "Don't you dare compare. Shut up and listen." For once, he did. She finally parked at an abandoned motel on the outskirts of town. Inside, the air was thick with dust and secrets. Vega slammed a file down on the table. "You asked who really wanted your wife gone? Who hired me? Who signed the checks?" Tyrese leaned over the file, his pulse hammering in his ears. Photos, emails, wire transfers. But it wasn't the documents that stopped his breath. It was the photo at the bottom of the stack. Kendra, smiling, shaking hands with the scarred man. "No," he whispered. "I was hired to make her disappear," Vega said quietly. But she already knew what she was running from. She just didn't tell you the whole truth. Tyrese sank into the chair, the weight of it crashing over him. "She paid you. She knew what Alec Renner was planning. She knew you were a target. She thought if she staged her own death, it'd keep you alive." Tyrese buried his face in his hands. "But then she stayed gone, why?" Vega stared at him for a long time. Then she slid the last photo across the table. A blurry surveillance shot of Kendra, in the arms of another man. The scarred man. "That," Vega said, her voice flat, "is the part even I don't understand yet. Was she protecting you? Or playing you the whole time?" Tyrese's head shot up, his jaw tight, his heart in pieces. Vega's eyes locked on his. "So, Cole, now you tell me." She leaned closer, her words like a blade. "You still think she's the woman you're fighting for? Or the one you should be fighting against?" The silence in the room was deafening. Tyrese stared at the photo of the woman he loved more than his own life, and wondered for the first time, who really was Kendra Cole? The motel clock ticked loud in the silence. Tyrese sat there, staring at the photo. His hands trembled as he turned it over, hoping, praying, for something that would make it all make sense. "Vega," he finally said. "Where is she? Where's Kendra now?" Vega leaned back in her chair, arms crossed. "That's the thing, Cole. She's not running anymore. She's waiting." "Waiting for what?" Vega smirked faintly. "For you to stop chasing ghosts, and come hear her side of the story." Later that night, they stood outside a nondescript brick building. No lights, no signs. Vega punched in a code and led Tyrese up 3 flights of creaking stairs. "She comes here sometimes. Keeps off the grid. Didn't even let me know she was back until 2 days ago," Vega said as she opened the final door. Inside, the room was warm, dim light, faint smell of chamomile tea. And there she was, Kendra, sitting on the edge of the bed, wearing one of his old hoodies, hair pulled back, face tired, but still so heartbreakingly familiar. Her eyes flicked up at him when he walked in, and for just a second, they shimmered with something he couldn't name. "You found me," she said softly. Tyrese didn't answer, just stared at her. "You got something to say?" she asked, her voice cracking slightly. He stepped closer, holding out the photo Vega had shown him. "You and him. Smiling. Tell me why, Kendra. Tell me the truth. Right now." Her eyes darkened as she took the photo, stared at it, then tossed it onto the bed like it was nothing. "You really think I smiled because I wanted to?" she said bitterly. Tyrese froze. "You don't know what they did to me, Tyrese. What they made me do. You think I disappeared to save myself? You think I could ever just walk away from you, from Naomi?" Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. "I smiled because he told me if I didn't, he'd send his people to finish you while you slept. You and the baby." and anyone who ever tried to help me. She stood now, stepping closer until she was inches from him. I had to play along. To survive. To keep you breathing long enough for someone like Vega to find you. But the day I saw Naomi's face, I knew I couldn't hide forever. Tyrese searched her face, seeing every scar, every line, every unspoken thing in her eyes. You should have told me, he whispered, and let you die. No. Her voice hardened now. I kept you alive, Ty. Even if it meant you hating me for it. Silence stretched between them like wire. Then Vega's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, cursed under her breath. We got company. Tyrese spun toward her. What do you mean, company? Vega was already moving toward the window. It means someone tipped Renner off. His men are on the way. We gotta move. Now. Kendra's eyes met his again, full of urgency. You believe me now? You see what I was fighting this whole time. Tyrese grabbed her hand without a word. As Vega led them down the fire escape into the night, the sound of black SUVs and boots hitting pavement echoed up the alley. Tyrese squeezed Kendra's hand tight, his mind racing. Was she telling the truth? Or was she still hiding something? And as the three of them disappeared into the shadows, one question burned in his chest. If the woman you love has become a stranger, would you still save her? Or finally let her go? Time will tell.